Time of year, girl. It is that time of year. Get Mariah Carey on your playlist. I got this from Target on sale. It's called Christmas Cheer, and that's exactly what it smells like. Girl, my whole house be smelling like cinnamon and pine trees, okay? Just a little check-in. How y'all been? How y'all doing? I missed y'all. Did y'all miss me? Let me know. You know, things have been a little crazy. So recently I've been seeing the discourse all over TikTok about beauty service providers. Lashes, hair, nails, brows, stuff like that, okay? All of the beauty maintenance. Back when I was a kid, going to get your hairs done, your nails done, like all of the services, waxing and stuff like that, it just wasn't as complicated. You didn't have like online appointments or anything. I'm really aging myself, bitch. I'm telling you, acrylic nails this long, painted red, and like the specific shape that she wanted, girl, they wouldn't go over 35, bitch. I'm serious, okay? Them's were the days. My grandma always went to beauty schools to go get her hair done because it was like significantly cheaper. Nowadays, girl, you have to really fill out your W-2s, your W-9s, your 1099s, give them your credit card information, the front and back of your driver's license, your social security number, and your firstborn child in order to get on their books. You hear me? I have had my fair share of like terrible nail experiences, which is why I go to my girl right now. I'm letting my nails heal so that I can have my Christmas nails, so don't get it twisted. My girl Cynthia was hard to come by. She was hard to find. I had to go through a lot of heartbreak and a lot of times of my nails just looking crazy and ratchet. Then during the pandemic, I started doing it myself and everything. The discourse that was going on TikTok was majority about hair and like hairstylists and like girls that do weaves and installs and wigs and stuff like that. The hoops that you have to jump through to not only get your appointment, book it, like put down a deposit, rules, regulations, come with your hair washed, like basically come prepared so I can do the absolute least service on you that I possibly can. Like that's what it is right now. And this is why Nikki was on the DIY train since jump. All right. Not only because I hate spending that kind of money, like it is so expensive being a girl. It is so expensive. Also because I've had my fair share of girls in the industry playing with me, just playing me. You hear me? So today I'm going to tell you guys a story about a lash girl that got me all the way fucked up. And after her, I never got my lashes done ever again. And never. So grab your wine, grab your snacks, and let's get into the story, okay? This story starts way back in the day. Let's rewind it back in time, okay? 16, 17 years old. Guess who's in the story? Y'all's fave, my home skillet biscuit, Alicia. I believe I was at my third school by this time. And so I was living like across town, but she and I kept in touch as much as we could while I was like moving around. Cause you know, that's my home skillet, that's my bestie. And she really like told me, she was like really sad, really depressed at school without me. And like our other friends would tell me that like Alicia was just like not herself after I left. And you know, I get it because like I'm the best friend around, you know what I'm saying? We would make it a habit, especially if we had longer weekends, holidays, stuff like that, to hang out. And because I was living across town, I was going to obviously different malls, different movies, different, you know, shopping centers and stuff than we used to go to because, you know, I'm seeing all kinds of new shit. There was another mall that was near me at this time and it was so much better. Like there were so many shops in there that I had never heard of before and that were amazing. And the first person that I thought about was Alicia. So I had gone to this mall with my mom and you guys, like they had an amazing food court. Like their stores were just better. They had like better selections. And so my mom and I went there a few times. And while we were walking around, you know, those little kiosks, those little booths, my mom stopped at one and it was an eyebrow threading girl. And there was like two of them there. And, you know, we, of course, girl, we hairy, okay? Like, let's not lie about it. Threading brows is not new by any means. But when it came to hair removal back then, typically for brows, it was like that wax. Okay, y'all know that wax? Like they'd be pulling your entire soul off you, girl, like in the back of the nail salons. Okay, that's what I was used to. And I would always break out because the wax would be too hot. So I would have like some crispy brows, bitch, but like all kinds of bumps and red, okay? So I believe that this was the first time that I got my eyebrows threaded, if I'm not mistaken. And I was kind of scared because I was like, how does this work? How much does it hurt? So my mom went first. And like my mom has very fine, delicate brows and like not nearly not nearly the situation that I got going on, right? Y'all, she was done like this. Did not flinch, and she was like, it doesn't even hurt. It doesn't even hurt. Like, stop being scared. Bitch, hold up, okay? Listen, when you're not used to it, I'm gonna be real with you, and you go to get your eyebrows studded, Tia Nikki will be real with you. It does kind of hurt. Not this part right here. This part right here on the top is fine. But when they get under here, bish, when they get to that sensitive part and they have you pull that shit tight, girl, it's not unbearable. It's not unbearable. But, you know, it was definitely something to get used to. But let me tell you something. I got up off that chair and I was looking noised, okay? In the words of my people, on fleek. You understand? I absolutely fell in love. And also, like, I noticed that my brows were not growing in as quickly when I was getting them threaded. And as I started going to this lady, she was very nice, and she told me straight up, she was like, stop tweezing your eyebrows. You come see me, because when you tweeze them, you just like ruin the flow. And the, like, she was telling me like my shape, I was ruining my shape. And so I was like, okay. So I would not touch my eyebrows without my eyebrow lady, okay? So fast forward, and I don't know when, but I just remember telling Alicia about this mall, and I was like, girl, you gotta come here. And we would always talk about it. She was like, yeah, because like I'm tired of going to, you know, our mall, and like nothing's changed, and da-da-da. So we end up, some point comes around where we have the opportunity, and she comes over to my house, and we make it a point to go to the mall. And I'm so excited, girl. I am like the tour guide of the century. I'm like, yes, and now let's over here. We have, you know, Bath and Body Works, and like everything's in stock. Like, one thing that I knew that she didn't know was we were gonna stop and see my eyebrow lady. So we went shopping for a little bit, and then we go to the food court. You know, we're chilling, we go downstairs, she's there, and another one of her coworkers, I believe it was like her cousin, they were family, was working there. So they were able to get me and Alicia in at the same time. Alicia had not gotten her eyebrows threaded before either. So I was like introducing this to her. She hated it. You hear me? She absolutely despised it. She was like, don't you ever do that to me again. Like, they look great, but she just was not about it. Like, the pain was just too much for her. We end up going to different department stores. We end our day. We go back to my place. We like spend a night. We watch movies. We do whatever, and everything's all good, right? I made time to get back to the mall and, you know, get my eyebrows done. So I go, and my lady is not there, and it's another girl. I had met this other girl before. She had just never done my eyebrows personally, but I'd met hers. And immediately, y'all, her personality, like her mood, y'all, the energy, crazy. Like, she like looked at me and she was like, yeah, I know you. And I was like, yeah, like, your girl's my home skillet, like, what you mean? So, you know, I don't really think much of it. Whole interaction was super awkward. And then like halfway through my service, like 2 other girls showed up. So like nothing was said, there was no conversation, but I could feel it. Even like checking out, this girl was giving me hella attitude, and I was like, okay, like, this has never happened. It's been nothing but love. Like, what happened, girl? Why did I go back later on? The next time I went, I get the same girl, and she's treating me the exact same way. She's not saying nothing. And every time I go, and like there are other people waiting, so like I don't know what's going on. I could not find my girl. And I would like ask this girl, like, when is she gonna be back? And she was like, oh, you know, like she's on vacation, or oh, she's here, she's there. So I was like, okay. So I could just kept trying to catch her, because honestly, quite frankly, I preferred the way my girl did my brows than this girl. Nothing against her, but like my girl just had it down packed. So I was like, when is she gonna be back? Well, finally, girl. And I see her like over the balcony, and I'm like, oh my God. And I zoom down there, and I'm like gonna ask her for her personal business card, because like I cannot lose track of you again, girl. So I go there, and there's like 2 other girls there already in line, and they're like, you know, working on them. Why does my girl look up at me, and she was like, what is going on? No. I'm too hairy to have a problem with you. You're the only person that has been able to understand my eyebrows. I really cannot afford for this relationship to go down the toilet. So in any other situation and scenario, if somebody were to like treat me like that or look at me like that, I would peace out. I wouldn't give them my business. But I was desperate, bitch. When you have hair issues like me, the desperation exists. So I wait, and there's like a little fountain off to the side, and I fucking wait, and I'm just sitting there like looking at her like, we're gonna figure this out. We're gonna figure it out. If we gotta fight it out, we'll fight it out. It's fine, but you're gonna do my brows. The other girl finishes first, and then she like calls me over, and no offense, but I don't want her. I want my girl. So I'm like, no, I'll wait for her. And my girl gonna look at me and be like, no, you can go ahead and go with her because I'm gonna be a minute. I'm putting my foot down. Absolutely not. I've been waiting for you. So I was like, no, I will wait. I will wait. Okay, and the other girl got an attitude like, it's no offense to you for the 1,000th time. Okay, I just need to talk. I need to figure out what's going on. Girl, do I figure it out. It ends up being my turn. She like gestures towards the chair. Typically, she is so warm and so kind and how are you? How you been? You know, stuff like that. She was just like, come on. And I was like, okay. So I sit down in the chair and I'm like, oh my God, you know, I've been wondering where you've been. I've been trying to find you. Quiet. And I'm like, okay. So I just keep rambling on and I'm like, yeah, you know, like I really enjoy the way you do my eyebrows. I was wondering if you had like a business card or whatever. She gets through one of my eyebrows and she's like working on the other one and she's like about halfway through. And she's telling me like with an attitude and she's like, you might want to find yourself another eyebrow girl. Like you might want to find you somebody else to do your eyebrows because I'm not going to be here much longer and you're not going to be able to find me and whatever. Where are you going to go? Like I'm trying to figure out like, do you have another shop? Like, can I get like your new address? Stops what she's doing. And she puts her hands on her hip and she was like, well, yeah, that tends to happen when people steal my merchandise. I'm here to de-Chewbacca myself. I don't understand what you're saying. I'm here for you to take away from me. Keep in mind, my eyebrow on this side is halfway done at this point. So I'm sure I look crazy. And I'm like, what? Am I missing something? Like I've never taken like merchandise? And she goes, yeah, merchandise. And she like gestures towards the kiosk. And there was like shelves around it, like, you know, and there was 2 chairs and then the actual kiosk itself and it had shelves on it. Well, on the shelves, like there were different brooches and tiaras and like glittery, you know, accessories that she sold as well as doing eyebrows. And quite frankly, girl, I never paid attention to any of her merchandise that was on the shelves ever. I was only concerned about my eyebrows. So she like gestures towards the shelves and I'm like, I thought that you were bringing me another client, but it just turns out that like you had plans to steal from me. What are you talking about? Wait until that other girl leaves and it's just me and both of them. And I was like, am I gonna get jumped, right? She finishes my eyebrows. She like gives me the mirror. She's like, do you like them? Yes, no. And I was like, yes, I like them. Fantastic. So I pay her. It's just the 3 of us. And they proceed to tell me that my home skillet biscuit, my best friend, had come to the mall with some of her other friends, like 2 other girls. They came to this kiosk. They came to get their brows done. While they were getting their brows done, they were taking things off of the shelves. They paid for their brows and they like booked it out of the mall. And before these girls knew it, they look at the shelves on like one side and they had taken so much shit. Apparently they had taken like, I don't know. She didn't give me a dollar amount. They took quite a bit. Okay, so, okay. Bitch, I didn't know what to say. And I was so apologetic. I didn't know what else to say. And I was like, I am so sorry. And she was like, if that's what like you were planning. And like, she was trying to say that I brought Alicia there specifically for that. And I was like, I would never, like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Actually, you give me her number because I'm going to call the police. And like, you know, I've been trying to track her down and she was like hitting me up for Alicia's shit, right? Okay, look, listen, I ain't a snitch. I'm sorry. Like, I know that you know what happened. I'm not giving you her information at all. So I lied. And I was like, look, we lost connection. We lost track of each other. Like, I moved a while ago. We haven't been talking. She changed her number. I don't know how to find her. But like, I am so sorry. Y'all, I didn't know what else to do. I was very young and I freaked out. And I had already paid and everything. And I was like, I'm so sorry. And she was like, no, like, she was like, you don't know her number? You don't know where I can find her? She was like, you could write it down right here. Okay, how about her name? Just write down her name. And she's like trying to hand me a pen. I was like, I'm just so sorry, girl. I back up and I fucking take off. And she was like, I don't even remember what she was saying, but like she wasn't yelling or anything, but she was just like, why don't you give me her name? Just give me her name. Like if you really weren't involved. And I was like, I don't Oh my God, y'all, I panicked. And like, I was kind of embarrassed because like other people were walking past and I was like, oh my God, what the fuck is happening? As I'm walking through this department store, I'm texting Alicia and I'm like, bitch, what did you do? So by the time I get out to the parking lot, she's calling me. I sit out there, and keep in mind, I'm very young at this time. I'm riding the bus, okay? So I am very high anxiety. I don't know what I thought, but I was like, what if she comes out here and she finds me? Like, I am shit out of luck here, and I was pissed at Alicia because I was like, I have no car. Like, I came to my mall. Like, what the fuck happened? Now, here's the thing about Alicia. Alicia was my down-ass friend. Love her to death. Always will have love for her. But my God, this girl... Oh, she was a klepto. Oh my God, she was a klepto. And here's the thing, she was good at it. She was scary good at it. Like, I didn't realize my friend did shit like this and would steal until we had gone to Target one time, and we like walked from her house to Target one day, and you know, I was just like mentioning, oh, you know, we didn't have a whole lot of money, and so I was like, oh man, you know, I heard good things about this mascara and like whatever, or you know, whatever. I was like mentioning shit, and we got back to her house and she was like pulling things out of like her person, out of her pockets and shit, and like her sleeves, and it was all the stuff that I had just talked about in passing. And it was in that moment that I was like, and I was with her, I was shopping with her, and I never even saw her doing that. And I was like, Alicia, have you been stealing? She did it all the time, and she was very good at it. And let me tell you something, I was too scared. I was too fucking scared. I'm gonna be real. Like, if my mom found out that I was thieving, oh, it would have been my ass. So I would like beg Alicia. Because she wouldn't tell me. She knew better than to tell me. She did not tell me. And so I would like beg her after I found out. When we would go places, I would beg her, please don't steal. Please don't, because it would be my luck that you would get caught while I'm with you. And like, they're just going to assume that I've been doing it with you. So like, please, when you're around me. And I like pleaded with her, and I was like, my mom, absolutely crazy, okay? Shiva, I will die. So I'm gonna need you to stop playing with my life. And so she promised me, you know, that she would not steal while I was in her presence, because I kind of got upset with her about that. Like, thanks for your 5-finger discount gifts, I guess, but like, do you know what could have happened? So when I was on the phone with Alicia about this, you know, she's telling me, oh yeah, you know, it wasn't even a big deal. Like, it wasn't even like, she acts like these are real diamonds and stuff like that. And I was like, bitch, I'm sitting there at the bus stop and I cannot seem to get my friend to understand, like, you stop doing this shit. Like, I just lost my brow lady because do you understand? Like, I finally had somebody that understood my plight, and you're gonna sit up here at the mall that I go to, bro, and like, you know, and she didn't even warn me. That was the other thing. I was like, you didn't even warn me? Like, don't go back over to your mall, or don't go back to that lady because I thieved from her. Like, and her reasoning, she was like, I didn't think that she was gonna remember that you and I were friends. She met me, what, one time? And I was like, yeah, that's all she needs. Like, Alicia, what the fuck? And from that point all the way into my early mid 20s, I went without somebody. That I was going from place to place to place, getting my eyebrows fixed, trying to find somebody that would do well, okay? New eyebrow bars are popping up. Like, I remember I would like go during my lunch hour when I was working downtown and like trying these different places, and every single time, like, I just wasn't it wasn't the right thing, you know? Like, when you find the person that does your hair perfectly, or find the person that does your nails exactly the way you like it, I was not able to find somebody that could do my eyebrows the way that I liked it, like that lady at the mall did. And I was like so internally resentful of Alicia for that, because I was like, how dare you take away my eyebrow, girl? So I was back at square one. So fast forward, I'm at another mall, I'm grown, and I would go to this little, they had like a stand in the mall that was MAC. It wasn't like a full MAC store. It was like a standalone stand, okay? And they just had the basics. I would go in there for my like skin finish and like whatever else, right? It's around the holidays. And I liked going into MAC because, you know, you would get those little holiday kits, holiday sets for a lot less. And so I went in there, I forgot what I was looking for, but I meet this really nice girl, and she is so bubbly, and like, I know MAC being nice, boys. I think it was because, maybe it was because it wasn't like a Mac store. I'm one of them. I'll be hyping my girls up, okay? So I complimented her and I was like, oh my God, your lashes are so pretty. And she was like, oh, thanks. I did them myself. Like, you know, I'm learning and I'm going to school to do lashes. And I was like, oh, cool. That's awesome. No big deal. Got my shit, left, cool. Fast forward, and in the same mall, I don't know how much time. It was quite a bit. I would say like maybe a year or so. Like it was quite a bit of time. But it was the same mall, and they also had a Sephora on one side of the mall. So I'm shopping around with the boys. I take off, you know, do my use. Y'all stay in the Apple store. Don't say nothing, don't do nothing, and don't bother me. I'm going shopping. Peace out. I go across the hall. I go to Sephora. I'm walking around, and all of a sudden I hear this very friendly voice. Hi, can I help you find something? And I turn around, and it's my home Skillet from MAC. It's in the same mall. Old girl decided to leave MAC and go right across the hall and get herself a job at Sephora. And I was like, oh my God. Y'all, she did not remember me, but I remembered her. And I was like, oh my God, hi. I was like, you used to work at MAC. And she was like, yeah, hi. And I could tell all over her face she did not recognize me. And I was like, oh my, I'm sorry. I was like, you helped me out a while ago. I was like, but I remember you had some bomb lashes, and again, her lashes looked amazing, right? I'm actually gonna be leaving here soon and like starting my own lash business, and like I'm gonna be doing lashes. And I was like, oh my God, no way. And so I grabbed the last few things that I want, and she follows me up to the front. She goes to a register and she's like, I'll take you over here. And I was like, all right, cool. So we just start chit-chatting, and she's telling me that she's going to be doing lashes. She's leaving Sephora. Like, you know, they already know. Can I have your info? Like, I would love to come and see you and like, you know, get my lashes done. You know, I had never gotten my lashes done before, and I had a vacation coming up, and I was like, that would be so perfect. Like, I wanted to find somebody that does bomb ass lashes, and I don't know anyone personally. So like, let me get her info. So I got her info. I got her Instagram and everything, when her books would be opening up, and perfect. So I leave after I make my new friend, and everything's all good in the world. Fast forward, and I'm prepping for the vacation that I'm going to take. And I was reading everywhere, and all of my girlfriends were telling me, oh my God, you need to get your lashes done. Lash extensions are the way to go when you go on vacation, because, you know, you can get them wet, and like, you don't have to worry about it, and like worry about mascara. Even if you use waterproof, it is nothing against that humidity. So all of my girls were like, you need to go get your lashes done. At this point, old girl had been doing her own lash game for like a few months, okay? Felt comfortable to go to her little booking website. I see what days she's available. I put down my deposit. As I'm checking out, like this page comes up of like terms of agreement. I almost swiped past it. I almost just hit okay, but I noticed that these terms of agreement seems a bit different. It wasn't like, you know, a regular like terms of service for an application or, you know, like a software. It was terms of agreement to book with her. You could tell that it was something that she wrote just by the design of it. I don't know how to explain it. So I start reading through it, and all of it's bullet pointed with stars. Okay. That was definitely a big part that gave it away. So I start reading through the starred bullet points, and it is all of her rules on, you know, booking with her, the appointments, the cancellation. Okay. Down at this point, I see where her new studio is. It wasn't too far from my job. At this point, I have my little Scion, and I vroom over to her space, and it is a bitch to get to the building that she was in. First of all, it was like the most narrow parking lot. Doors were here, so you had to like bust a complete U in order to get out of this parking area. And like, it was just a recipe for disaster. And I was convinced that like I was gonna get into a car accident just because I wanted to get my lashes done. I get there with ample time. I'm like 15 minutes early. I go, and thank God, because this place is like 2 or 3 levels, and there's a bunch of different businesses in it. The first floor was like a little bistro cafe spot where like people were having their coffee and their espresso, and then there was like a lounge area, ton more businesses, boutiques, hair salons, stuff like that up there, right? So I'm passing through it, and I'm just like looking around. I get all the way to the end, and I pass a series of like windows, and I can see into them, and I see my girl through the window. I'll call her Crystal. I was like, I'm here to see Crystal for my brows. What time? Whatever, 5:30, whatever it was. And she was like, oh, early, like to see it. Gives me a clipboard, and I could just fill this out, and you know, as soon as she's done, you know, she'll take you. And I was like, okay, cool. So, you know, there was nobody else in this little area that I was in. So I start filling out the paperwork, and she goes, excuse me, can you go out there around the corner? You'll find some seating and you can fill out your paperwork there. We just don't want any traffic at the desk. There was literally nobody else there besides the girl in the chair that was getting her lashes done and me and her. So I was like, okay, so I got my shit. I go out of the studio, go around the corner into those little chairs, and I sit down, I fill everything out, and they ask you everything about yourself. I got there 15 minutes early. I filled out my paperwork. I go in there, I give it back to her, and she tells me, okay, you can go back out there and wait. She'll come get you. By this point, maybe I had like 5 minutes left until it's my actual appointment time. So I was like, all right, cool. So I go out there, I go to the bathroom, and then I come sit out there, and I'm just waiting. I'm on my phone. Girl, why? 5 minutes pass. 10 minutes pass, 15 minutes pass. So I start getting a bit irritated, and I'm like, what the fuck? For somebody that has all these rules and regulations, like, you would think that you would be a little bit more timely. So I go down the hall and I peek into the studio, and the girl at the front desk sees me and she's like, just a little bit longer, just a little bit longer. Okay, well, take a little bit off. Just take a little bit off of my cost. How about that? Of course, I didn't say that, okay? I just want to have a pleasant experience, and I want my eyelashes to look good for my vacation. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut, and I'm going to go sit my ass down. And I do. Definitely not happy about it, but I know how to be pleasant even when I'm not extremely happy with the circumstances. Finally, my girl comes around the corner. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Yeah, like, you know, her set was a bit fuller than I thought. So, you know, I'm ready to take you. And I was like, okay. So I go in there. Now, keep in mind, I would like to preface this by saying that I had just had Ezra at this time. Like, I had just had a baby. I was like few months postpartum. I can, you know, feel her placing the lashes on and everything. And I don't know at what point, I don't know what happened, but bitch, why? Why did I fall asleep in her chair? Why? I don't know what it was about, like, just like feeling like just delicate little hairs being put. I don't know, but a bitch fell asleep, okay? And you know what woke me up? Snoring. I was snoring. And like, I wake myself up and I'm like, you know, and I was like, oh shit. And I was kind of embarrassed, and you know, you can't really be moving your eyes while they're working. So I like didn't open my eyes, and I just sat there and I felt really embarrassed at first. And then I noticed that like there was no movement going on. There was nobody touching me, but I still had everything on my eyes. So all I can rely on is my hearing. So I hear voices off to my right, and it's my girl and the front desk girl, and they're like talking, and I can hear them like chit-chatting. My girl is sitting there telling her something about another client. She's like, oh my God, like that I'm not available, and she continues to call. By the way that it's sounding, she's just over there chit-chatting. And I honestly, like in the moment, I didn't realize it, but bitch, I really think that this girl was like, oh my God, she's asleep. I'm gonna go ahead and take a step away and go like get the cheese mint real fast, and then I'll come back. And that's exactly what happened, girl. She finished up her conversation. She was talking about her mans. She was talking about her weekend plans. She was talking about her clients that she can't stand. Like, and then she came back and finished my other eye, and I, you know, okay, whatever. I liked it. It felt different. I had to get used to it. She gave me my care instructions. I go over there. Oh, they have like the iPad, right? And, you know, she puts in the service and she flips that shit around. Okay, so I tip her. I sign my signature. I turn the iPad back around, and this girl gonna be like, okay, and then here we go. And she turns it right back around on me, and there's another tip screen on the iPad. And I was like, I'm sorry, like I already left the tip. And she goes, oh, no, that was for her. This one's for me. Are you guys for real? You're getting tipped for signing me in and giving me some papeles to fill out with my information? Wow, I should be getting tipped at my everyday job. This is crazy. My people-pleasing ass, what do you think I did? I sure did. I tipped that little girl. I did. I didn't know what else to do, but like crazy, okay? So from the time that I had originally booked with this girl, her terms and conditions, the ones that I told y'all about, to the time that I'm rebooking now, few weeks apart, the terms and conditions page look completely different, girl. When I tell you long, she had added some things, time constraints. Now you'll get 50% of your deposit back, not the full 100. Like, shit was changing. There's no drinks in the studio, not even water. Make sure you're not late. Now there is no grace period. Okay, she's so booked and so busy that there is no grace period. You need to be here on time. You're going to lose your booking deposit completely. And I was like, but wow, this is very serious. But I wasn't really worried about it. I can ensure that I'm there on time. I had not replaced my brow girl at this point. From the time I was a teenager all the way up until this point, I had not found somebody to do my brows well. So during my first appointment, old girl that was doing my lashes was like raving about her eyebrow work, how she's so passionate about brow defining and brow shaping and brow mapping and all of these things. And then like the front desk girl was like hyping her up and was like, oh my god, yeah, like she does my brows, and like everybody loves getting their brows done by her. And I was like, oh my god, great. So when I booked my second appointment, not only did I book my lash fill, but I also booked my brows, because I need a new brow girl. I go inside, I feel seasoned, and I feel prepped. I know exactly where I'm going. I go inside, I go to the second floor, I go to the studio, there's a bunch of glass. I look inside the studio, and why do I see this young blonde girl, and she's working on this other girl's lashes, and like that's literally the only person in there. I walk into the studio, there's nobody at the front desk, and it's just me, her, and the client. And like I'm just standing there, and I'm like, okay, I'm just trying to check in. So, you know, I'm not here to, I don't like making shit awkward, so I just stand there, I get on my phone, and finally she finishes this girl. I get out of the way so this girl can pay for her services. Nobody's talking to me, and I'm like, okay. So like this is kind of like a small space. So I literally stand up against the wall. I let this lady check out, and finally it's me and this girl. She's like, hi, can I help you? And I was like, yeah, so I have an appointment with so-and-so. What, and I am Crystal. I have an appointment with Crystal for my lashes and my brows. Starts clicking on the damn computer, and she's like, okay, just give me 1 second. Okay. Okay, so, just a small little change. So Crystal actually isn't here. She asked me to go ahead and do your lashes and your brows, or, you know, you're more than welcome to reschedule with her, but she is booked pretty far out. Girl, I was pissed. I was so mad. And I was like, okay, okay. She's gonna hear about this. She's gonna hear about this. Trust me when I tell you. But what am I gonna do? So I go ahead, I follow this girl over to her chair. She's very sweet, and she's very like meek and mild and quiet. And she was like, okay, like, you know, did you want to do a fuller set or whatever? So she and I start talking, starts working on my lashes, and the rest of the appointment is complete silence. She put on like some calming music, which I really enjoyed. Everything's all good. She hands me the mirror. I look at them. They look great. They look wonderful. Then the energy shifted, bitch. Okay, so just give me 1 second. She starts like wiping off my brows, and like she's like prepping to do my brows. And this girl's gonna tell me, okay, I'm just gonna be completely honest with you. Brows really are not my specialty. I hardly ever do them. So I'm gonna try my best, okay? And like, but you've already put your deposit down for both services, so I'm just gonna try my best. Oh my God. You know how you can feel when somebody's cutting into your brow? It's kind of like the feeling of like somebody cuts into your hairline, okay? Like you're not supposed to be over chill. You're not supposed to be entering these boundaries, ma'am. And when I tell you, I could feel it as this girl was doing my brows. She was all up in the body, the meat and potatoes of my eyebrows. She hands me the mirror. Now keep in mind, I'm laying on my back still, okay? She hands me the mirror, and I'm looking. Something seems a little off, but you know what? They seem clean. They seem, you know, a little shapen and everything. So I was like, all right, cool. Definitely not the best work, but it'll do. I just kind of want to get out of this situation. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I want to go home. Like my eyes are like sore, and like I just want to go. Now I made sure, I asked her, I was like, you get this tip, right? And she goes, yeah. She was like, she just gets part of the booking. And I was like, I don't understand why, but okay. And I tip her generously. I tip her very generously. I appreciated her staying behind. I wasn't even her client. She didn't have to do that. No, she's obviously covering for Crystal's funky ass that can't keep up with her own bookings. And for somebody who has all the rules in the world, you get to just like no call, no show basically, and there ain't no repercussions. I go outside to my car. And I don't know if it was just the daylight. I don't know if it was because I was sitting upright, the math and the science behind it. But when I looked at myself in the fucking mirror, why were my eyebrows like this? Like this. like this. They didn't even look like sisters, bitch. They didn't even look like distant cousins. They look like whole ass strangers. Do you hear me? They were completely shaped different. And I looked like I was walking around like this the whole time, like this. I FaceTime David. I was so mad. And like when somebody does that to your eyebrows, you have to walk around like that until it grows back. Okay, and it's gonna take a minute to grow back and like grow out your brows. And when I tell you, this girl set me back months and months and months. I wasn't even mad at her. I wasn't even mad at her. You know why? Because she wasn't the person that was supposed to do my brows. Crystal was. It's the audacity to sit there and draw up with your little fingers a whole ass list. And I mean an emphasis on list. Rules and regulations to book with your funky ass. And all of the confinements and all of the fees and all of the threats and all of the preparation and all of that, you will lose your deposit and you will be charged the full cost and all of that. And you gonna sit there and just not be there. And I really hope that like somebody somewhere somehow sees this video and sends it to her, because like I'm pretty sure that if she saw me, she would recognize me, because like, you know, we went way back from the time she was like working at the mall and shit. I know her. And you funky and foul for that. You funky and foul for that. Girl, after that, when I tell you, I never got my lashes done again. Ever. I go to my one girl for my nails and I handle my own hair. I've done my own pedicures for years. I do all of that by myself. I even do hair removal at home by myself. And Crystal, girl, it really is because you had me fucked up. You really did. There was just like this intensity behind, you know, the scheduling and the appointments, which is fine. You know, I'm sure that this is both ways. You know, they've had experiences with clients messing with their time, messing with their money, trying to steal from them. I get that. But there has to be a level of professionalism and also a level of self-accountability. And whatever you're expecting from somebody else, you should expect from yourself. And I just do not think that it is okay for any person that provides a service to demand a deposit and demand these time constraints and the specific steps to be taken in order to work with them, but yet they don't follow those steps for themselves. I would have appreciated my booking fee and like my deposit to be returned to me by Crystal personally, because she wasn't there. And not only was she not there, she didn't notify me. I got no texts, no emails, no calls saying, hey, I can't make it, family emergency ABC. There was nothing. It was just I showed up and I got who I got. And guess what? I got my eyebrows all fucked up because this girl, that was not her specialty. And guess why? Because I did not book with her. I booked with Crystal. You know what I noticed? That there was no list for them. There was no, among their list, there was no, and there is any reason why I cannot show, you will get X amount of money back. You will get this percentage of your refund. I am not done with my other client. If I have you waiting more than 5-10 minutes because I'm not done with my previous client because of my mismanagement of time, you will get some sort of incentive. And that is a problem. That is completely insane. How you gonna be the only person that doesn't have any expectations out of you? Girl, you better stop it right now. There has to be professionalism in the services that you're providing. That's been lacking in this area as a whole. So I'm out. I'm peacefully and gracefully bowing out. Definitely vet the professionals that you are trying to work with for their services and make sure that the respect is mutual. Considerate. That's all it is. It's just consideration for one another's time, their craft, and make sure that you can afford the services that you're asking for, but also make sure that you're not having people jump through hoops that you yourself are not willing to jump through due to your lack of time management. Don't let nobody do you wrong like that, okay? And like speak up if you don't like something. Like if you don't like something, like say something. You know what I mean? Like with your nails, everything. Cause like, girl, my whole, you know what I mean? Bye.